Hey everybody, welcome to Halftime. It is the lunch hour, and I'm sure everybody is just as hungry as I am for the sports world and the sports knowledge that is about to consume us during this show. We welcome you inside the studio, of course. It is time for Halftime. I am Baxter Colburn.
And I am Tanner Burke.
Well, Tanner Burke, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you today, Baxter? Happy lunch hour to you. Happy halftime.
Happy halftime to you. Happy trails? No, not yet. It's still too early to go on a happy trails.
It's Monday. Yeah.
It is a Monday.
How was your weekend? Did you have a good weekend?
It was good, actually. I took a lot of time off to spend with the family. In-laws came down as well, too, which I really was excited about.
Very nice.
To get to spend time with them, just relax. You know, got to go to church, just got to spend time together as a family, had popcorn, drank wine. I'm not too mad about my weekend, honestly.
A solid weekend after a long opening week of Brew Sports.
It was, yeah. I mean, it was a smidge sad because I bid farewell to an organization that was very near and dear to my heart for 3 years. Spent 3 years of my life at Cedarburg High School here in Wisconsin, doing broadcasting for them, and did my final game for them actually Saturday afternoon. A 71-70 regional championship thriller in basketball, which is exciting. So it was good to go out with a win. But a little sad at the same time, being like, well,
always is.
Thanks for everything, guys. So a shout out to my boss, Dave, for everything he did there for me for the last 3 years. But that was my weekend. What'd you do?
I relaxed. I took it easy.
Good, you needed to.
I did. It was well deserved. But I am ready to crack down on this happy Monday. Actually, Baxter, it's not as happy as I'd like it to be.
Why? It's Monday.
I'm a little moody today.
Well,
I'm a little moody.
Is it that time of the month for you?
I'll let you know later. Yes, it is Moody Monday, Baxter. So we have some things to vent about, I believe.
I believe you are correct about that. And Moody Monday is always an interesting thing in the sense that, being moody, I mean, people have feelings. Everybody has mixed feelings about what a Monday entails, I feel like.
True, very true.
I feel like the best way to get through a Moody Monday, though, is to have a drink.
You think so?
I think so.
Should I pour myself a
Why don't you tell us
nice cool beverage?
Why don't you tell us about your drink really fast, because I realize this computer's not fully plugged in, so you do that really fast.
Yes, absolutely, I will do that. Yeah, I am doing a Jungle IPA today from Third Sign, which is a brewery out of, let's see here. I should have known this already. I'll tell you later. I'm not really sure. But yes, Wisconsin. It is out of Wisconsin. Look at that. There's another brewery in Wisconsin. Surprise, surprise. But yes, Jungle IPA from Third Sign. It's got a nice little label on here.
That's
but
pretty fancy, though. I like that.
It is. I have had this beer before, and it's very citrusy and refreshing. The beers I've picked so far have been very solid lunch beers. What about yourself?
I'm actually doing a beer this time instead of a cider.
Instead of your cider?
I know.
Okay.
I have a New Glarus Brewing Company, Two Women. It's a lager, and it's rather refreshing.
New Glarus, another great Wisconsin brewery.
Indeed. It's illegal. You can't buy New Glarus outside of the state of Wisconsin.
You know, bars have gotten shut down for smuggling kegs of spotted cow across the border.
Rightfully so.
And serving it at their bar. So let's drink to Wisconsin.
Cheers to a Moody Monday.
Beautiful, Moody Monday.
And to all of you as well on your lunch break as well.
Quite tasty.
Apparently it's a different brewery than you think it is. Apparently it's Carbon 4 Brewery is what I'm being told in my head.
It says Third Sign.
Interesting. Well, the more you know, I guess. Well,
I don't know. I'll research it and I'll
until
tell
both of them
later.
are splashing sponsorship dollars at us, we can say whatever we want, I guess.
This is true.
All right, so Tanner, tell me why you're moody. We're going to be joined a little bit later in the program by Jimmy Carlton, one of our hosts of Double Dribble, but also a big insider in the NBA as well. But we'll get to all the NBA stuff in a little bit. So why are you moody? Vent to me, and I will also equally vent to you as well.
Well, one of the things, Baxter, we talked about AP on Friday, so I won't get into that. But that was definitely one of the things that was on my mind.
It's a pretty moody thing to talk about.
Yes, yeah. But if you haven't, there were some pretty absurd comments made about Adrian Peterson. You can find our little nugget, if you will, on our page as well. People are hating on Golden State, Baxter.
Golden State? Why would you hate on Golden State?
People are hating on Golden State because they lose back-to-back games, the first time of the entire season. And for some reason, everyone there's too many doubters out there saying that Golden State's not good enough. Can they win? It's like,
they've won the most games in the NBA this season.
Both games that they lost were on the road. And just as quickly as those haters came in, they left after their win this weekend, and everybody's back on the bandwagon. But According to SportVU of NBA stats, Steph Curry, who is the bread and butter of the Golden State Warriors, he went 1 of 16 on the three-point line, which were considered wide open, over those 3 games. So, I mean, when your best player is not playing well and your bread and butter is shooting threes, I mean, I reference Marquette University's gameplay as well, because it's very similar in the sense where you're going to score the bulk of your points from the three-point line, and you're going to have a day every now and then where you're just not sinking threes.
It happens.
You know what I mean?
Aaron makes a good point on Facebook, too. He says haters are going to hate. I completely agree. I mean, how many times do we see people bashing the Patriots?
All the time.
We made it
I'm one of them.
We made it 5 minutes, by the way, before I brought up the Patriots.
Before you brought up the Patriots?
How many
I think
people
it's a new
bash
record.
the Patriots for the fact of, they keep winning, they keep winning. People bash the Packers. People bash Real Madrid in soccer. People bash the U.S. women's national team in soccer. People bash Team USA basketball. They keep winning. People bash the Yankees for decades.
It's absurd.
People hate teams that are successful, but want their own team to be successful. You can't have it both ways.
Here we go. Here's a hater on Facebook. Trevor says, Golden State are the Patriots of the NBA. We're allowed to hate them. Do you really think that Golden State's they're the Patriots of the NBA?
No.
But I'd put Cleveland in that category, right?
The Spurs.
You got LeBron James. LeBron James is the Tom Brady of the NBA.
If you're talking about the NBA and you're talking about the Patriots equivalent, it's the Spurs. It's a dynasty that's been successful for so long.
People that hate
but
a certain franchise.
If you're hating to hate, then yeah, people hate Golden State. People don't hate Cleveland as much.
So if it's Cleveland and Atlanta in the NBA championship, are 99% of the people in the country rooting for Atlanta to win because they're fans or because they hate LeBron James?
Atlanta's not good anymore.
Well, I'm just saying, it's just, Atlanta, New England, Atlanta, Cleveland kind of.
I suppose.
Anyways,
yeah,
I'm moody.
But if I was given the opportunity to choose either Cleveland or Atlanta, I would cheer for Cleveland.
Well, it's for the good of the game, I suppose.
Exactly.
I hate LeBron James.
What?
I like Steph Curry. It's the same reason why I hate Tom Brady. I hate Tom Brady, but it hurts because he's such a nice guy. Aside from all the cheating allegations and everything, he has such a clean slate. LeBron James has such a clean slate. He's never done anything wrong. I don't know why I hate him other than the fact that he's potentially one of the greatest players to play the game.
You can't argue against LeBron James.
No, you can't.
There's so many things that you can. He's a family man. He's a smart guy.
He
does everything right.
This is very true.
And people hate that.
People hate that.
Where are his skeletons?
Haters be hating.
I don't like it.
Anyways. Do you have anything that you're moody about today, Baxter?
Well, I personally am not the biggest Moody fan out there. I mean, I can be moody in the sense that my New England Revolution lost opening weekend to the Colorado Rapids in MLS. I know, boo-hoo, sad day for all of you soccer fans that are like, no! It's fine. Get over it. I'm over it. I knew they weren't going to win anyway. No, what I am being moody for on behalf of other people is that ESPN is going to be making a ton of cuts in 2017. We've already heard, this is Deadspin that is reporting it among many others, that ESPN is planning to lay off a ton of people, and they're projecting by about June is when all the cuts are going to be completed. And we've seen this in the past, that ESPN always lays off a bunch of people, everybody goes to Fox Sports, and they try to make it as good and exciting as possible. However, I feel like Colin Cowherd and Skip Bayless actually haven't done as much for Fox Sports as I think that they were hoping they were going to do.
Right.
So I think the Moody people... The Moody Monday actually is going to be applied to ESPN as a whole because they're the ones that are going to be sad because I don't know if I'm going to have a job. Are you going to have a job? Who's going to have a job? Who's safe? Who's not, kind of a thing.
Well, I'm not working for ESPN, so I'm not too worried about it. But
I'm content. I'm drinking a beer live. I feel like my job is okay.
It's frustrating from an employment standpoint to hear something like that. You're like, oh,
yes.
Man, thousands of people are going to lose their jobs. But at the same time, it's tough for a major corporation like that in an industry that's changing so rapidly right now. It's tough for a major corporation to keep jobs like that. I heard just the other day that the years of the cameraman are in the past, and people are still going to school for this. And I mean, we have 2 cameras here. We don't have anybody running the camera.
No. It's all done. It's all done remotely. It's all done by robots. It's all done with crazy, fangled new technology.
Unfortunately, that means some people are going to lose their jobs, but you have to be prepared to move into a different direction if that happens. I mean, I'm prepared to find a new daily show to host once you decide to let me go, or once your infant son decides that he's ready to go live.
I think he's going to take over for you, honestly.
He's cute as hell, man. He's great. He's beautiful.
David wants to know if we're going to be scouting any of the freshly cut ESPN personnel. No.
I mean, we could put it out there.
Why would we bother?
But that would put my job in jeopardy.
Aaron says, I will have a job, #official. You heard it here first, apparently. ESPN is facing stiff competition from Bruce Sports. I completely agree with you
Very
on
true.
that one. All right, so that's our Moody Monday segment. Comment below on Facebook to let us know what you're moody about in the sports world. If you thought something maybe just wasn't as great over the weekend. If you're a Bills fan, of course, you can be moody anytime you want to.
That's half the reason why I came up with this segment for Mondays.
It's going to make a lot more sense once the NFL starts. Be like, Bills lost again. Dang it, I am mad.
Which my NFL show, or the football show that I have on Tuesdays, will be it'll be Terrible Tuesdays, where I'll basically just talk the same thing about the Bills loss.
We get it.
Yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's move into our next segment as we welcome in a co-host of Double Dribble on Friday nights from 5 to 6 here on Brew Sports, but also he's the sports editor for OnMilwaukee.com. It is Jimmy Carlton, and he joins us now on Halftime. Jimmy, welcome, sir. How are we doing today?
I was all right, but if you guys are going to be talking about the demise of journalism, I think I'm going to need a beer.
Come on down, Jimmy. Come on down.
Feel free to crack one open.
My goodness, Jimmy. What are you? I'm curious. Before we dive into the NBA a little bit more, do you have anything that you're moody about this Monday?
No, not really. The weather's good. I'm going to Arizona for spring training pretty soon,
Oh,
so
exciting.
I'm actually doing all right for a Monday.
All right.
That's the thing too. I mean, everybody. I feel like sometimes Mondays get a bad rap, and people like us can have good days.
Yeah, because I get to come in.
Usually they are terrible, though.
Yes,
Usually.
yes,
Let's not overshadow this.
Very
honestly,
true.
Usually there is.
My Monday could be worse. I'm coming in to host a show with the wonderful Baxter Colburn
stop
and
now.
crack open a nice cool beverage. and talk
Isn't that
basketball
everybody's
with
Monday
Jimmy.
dream, I feel like?
Yeah,
Drinking
exactly.
a beer, not hosting with me. Maybe
exactly,
it is.
Exactly.
All right, Jimmy, so the NBA playoffs are just a couple of weeks away. It's kind of crazy. I feel like the NBA season just kicked off, and Milwaukee was good, and then, of course, the season happened and injuries and all that fun stuff. But we'll talk about the Bucks in a little bit later. But we really want to focus in on playoff time, of course, and who some of these dark horses might be to keep an eye on. Everybody knows Cleveland and Boston and, Golden State and San Antonio, of course. Yeah, we know those teams are going to be good, of course, but we want to know if there's going to be any dark horses that fans can maybe get behind, because everybody loves the Cinderella story, and it's usually the same 4 teams that are always really good when it comes to the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been obviously injuries last month. Mitch and I talked about that on our NBA show on Friday. There's been a couple of trades.
So many.
Yeah, not a good month for knees was February. There was some trades, not as many made as usual at the trade deadline, but yeah, there's been some shakeup at the top, especially in the Eastern Conference, and then obviously in the Western Conference, Kevin Durant, the best player on the best team on Golden State, going down. So there's an opportunity for some dark horses.
Looking in the Eastern Conference, you've got Detroit, who's hanging out on the 8th seed. I mean, the Pacers. Would we call a team like Indiana a possible dark horse? I mean, they're 32-30, but I guess I don't know what classifies a dark horse. Is this a team that's not even in the playoff picture currently that could sneak in and then wow people?
Well, I think Indiana is a team that's on the decline. I would say Detroit doesn't really scare anybody this year. Chicago, we've sort of all in our Milwaukee, at least I'm in Milwaukee, and we've had our fun with the Bulls not really having any idea what they're doing. So, and then like at the top 4 seeds, I don't think you can call any of them a dark horse, and those are pretty entrenched. So the one that I would say is the team to look out for would be the Miami Heat. They've had an absolutely incredible run out of nowhere over the last few months, last couple of months. I was just going back and looking at the schedule. Since January 14th, they've gone 18-4, which projected over a season, that's like one of the best teams in the league. And right now they're sitting at the 9 seed. They're not quite in, but they've obviously been coming up from basically the basement of the Eastern Conference, and they're 1 game out from that 8 seed behind Detroit, who I just don't know. The Pistons are not a good team. Chicago and Indiana are both falling. I think there's probably no way that Miami, playing as well as they do, doesn't get in. And then once they're in, if Cleveland, if the Cavaliers are still without Kevin Love, they could be vulnerable to losing a couple of games. I don't think anyone thinks Cleveland's not going to pave its usual path to the finals, but Miami's got a really good point guard in Goran Dragic. They've got a good center in Hassan Whiteside. A good point guard and a good center is still a pretty solid foundation in the NBA. They've got Deion Waiters, who is liable to go off for 75 points in a game or get ejected, before the tip, and so he can win you a game in a playoff series. They've got some 3-point shooting. So I'm looking at Miami as my dark horse in the East.
Now, Jimmy, you're in Milwaukee, so obviously you have to have some impression of the Bucks in the city here. A good young team. Do you see them? I mean, it's tough when you have the three teams at the top of the league that no other team will stand a chance against. But do the Bucks make a run for it? And what kind of potential is there for the young Giannis in the playoffs?
Yeah. Okay. So now we're in my wheelhouse. No, Mitch and I talked about the Bucks way too much on Friday, and then I was talking to my colleague at Milwaukee, Matt Miller, about this as well. The Milwaukee Bucks are predictably unpredictable, consistently inconsistent. They're extremely exciting. They've got all the potential and talent in the world, and they're always going to win 2, lose 3, win 3, lose 1, get blown out at home. Beat the Spurs on the road by a point. So they're a team that, if they sneak in, I'd be a little bit surprised. They've been playing pretty well over the last couple of weeks, despite losing Jabari Parker to injury, despite losing his backup, Michael Beasley, to another knee injury, although not as serious. Chris Middleton's been playing well for the Bucks coming back from his injury. If they sneak in, it would be because, like I mentioned before, those bottom 3 seeds in the East, and at least probably for the Bucks, they're looking at maybe the bottom, the 8 or the 7, would fall out. I think they would back their way in because they're not exactly in a position. They don't think they have the talent and the consistency to go on a run late down the stretch. But if they get in, Giannis, as you mentioned, I think the entire league, every basketball fan would love to see Giannis in the playoffs. They're a matchup nightmare. They beat the Cavs. They routed the Cavs at home. They beat the Spurs, like I mentioned. They can match up with some of the best teams just because they're really quirky and unconventional.
Talking with Jimmy Carlton of On Milwaukee and a co-host here on Double Dribble as well on Brew Sports on Friday evenings from 5 to 6. Transitioning a little bit here out of the Dark Horse conversation, Jimmy, a lot of criticism being applied, and I feel like rightfully so, to the NBA All-Star Weekend. Commissioner Adam Silver agrees that the NBA All-Star Game stinks and needs a reset. Former basketball player Reggie Miller says it was a joke. I mean, no matter who you really ask, folks, Warriors head coach Steve Kerr says it's a joke as well, too, and needs a lot of help. What can be done to save this supposed exciting and hallowed time to be an All-Star?
Well, yeah. So, Steve Kerr's comments were the ones that stuck out the most to me because he's a guy that's extremely well respected in the league. He coaches the best team in the league. He called it a joke, as you mentioned, and he also said, I think guys just need to go back and look at tape of the 80s. And that's sort of Steve Kerr doesn't usually do this, but that is obviously the old sort of, we worked harder, we did it better when I was playing.
Yes.
I don't think that really resonates with players. I don't think they really care. One of his best players, Draymond Green, then came on and said, we need to get paid more. Now we need to, but if you raise the stakes of the money amount, then guys are going to be more competitive with it. And then other players have said, what's $25,000 to us? That's not really going to work. Adam Silver, as you mentioned, has come out and said, we need to make some changes, but hasn't really alluded exactly to what those might be. I've got a couple ideas. And I've got one idea for what you said about, making it more competitive. And then I've got another one. If this is going to be a joke or a total exhibition, let's just embrace that it is. These guys are the most talented, most athletic, most entertaining athletes, in my opinion, of the major sports and in the world. So either embrace it or legitimately, genuinely make it more competitive. So if you want to make this game real, I think the first thing you need to do is eliminate the overarching idea that a certain number of All-Star games or being voted to the All-Star game or playing in an All-Star game will later have some impact on your Hall of Fame candidacy and your legacy. I think that has sort of gone down the drain with the fan voting. The early and mid 2000s when the fan voting, and even up till a few years ago, it got out of hand. I mean, Zaza Pachulia was getting a ton of votes just because he's from Georgia and in Eastern Europe, and so I think you just eliminate that whole idea, and then you're not stuck with guys who are like a 38-year-old Kobe getting voted in on a legacy vote, or guys who maybe don't deserve but are getting in because after 6 or 7 All-Star games, then they're considered for the Hall of Fame. So I think you get rid of that, and then you open up you have the opportunity to you have some more options in terms of who you're going to take. What I would love to see is one All-Star team composed of conference independent, just your typical All-Stars, your LeBrons, your Kevin Durant's, your Giannis's, your whoever gets voted in, your Steph Curry's, the offensive guys who are just going to get a ton of fan attention.
Yes.
Yep. I think the other one is voted in either by fans, or you take the fans completely out of it, either way. And those guys are elected, and that's the all defensive team, or the all-star defensive team. So you're going to have Tony Allen getting in there. You're going to have like Avery Bradley from the Celtics. You're going to have Hassan Whiteside. You're going to have, and then you can also have some stars too. Kawhi Leonard, Draymond Green, DeAndre Jordan, guys that were already all-stars, but are also more defensively inclined. And you basically just pit offense versus defense. That's going to get a ton of pride. The offensive guys are going to want to break the ankles of the defensive guys. The defensive guys are going to want to show like, yo, defense is where it's at. Like, I can stop you anytime I want. And I mean, just imagining some of these guys who would never get a sniff, like a Tony Allen, who's just an insane bulldog, playing in an all-star game and wanting to shut down like a James Harden. I think that would make for an incredibly competitive, like really, really awesome spectacle.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that one as well, too. One really thing fast for you as well, Jimmy, before we have to let you run. Jeff on Facebook wants to know if Jabari Parker is done, or is he too fragile to basically come back and be any sort of help at all going forward for the Milwaukee Bucks?
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jeff probably didn't watch our show on Friday because we spent a lot of time being really sad about Jabari. I, as a Bucks fan and as a guy who really loves Jabari as a person and a player, I hope he comes back somewhat similar to what he did last time when he incredibly came back way better, way stronger from his ACL. But there isn't a lot of history of guys coming back from the same ACL in the same knee. And within 3 years, I don't see him coming back with the same explosiveness or athleticism. I hope he can reinvent his career in some way.
I have one more question, and of course it's another Milwaukee question, but Giannis, is he elite? And if not, will he get to that point? Because his game is so unique from the offensive side to the defensive side. He's kind of like something that we haven't seen before in the league for a while. Is he going to be the next superstar of the NBA?
I think he already is. I mean, I think it'll be interesting. He's going to run away with Most Improved Player award this year, and he's basically improved from a guy that had a lot of potential and sort of a solid starter to a legitimate superstar. He leads the Bucks in every major statistical category. He's one of only maybe a handful in the league that is in the top however many in terms of the counting stats: points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. He's in like LeBron, Russell Westbrook type company.
Absolutely.
The thing is, he does everything sort of gracefully and without having, he doesn't do anything sort of with 44 points or 20 rebounds. So he doesn't get that and his name is impossible to pronounce, and he's in Milwaukee. So I don't think he gets the national attention, but he's absolutely an ascending superstar. The guy's 21 years old or 22 years old recently. And, 2 or 3 years from now, he's going to be an all NBA first teamer, I think, for sure.
Good stuff. All right, Jimmy,
Awesome.
Thank you so much. Where can people find your writing and find you on social media as well?
You can find me at onmilwaukee.com. I'm the sports writer, sports editor there, so make sure you read our sports content. And you can also follow me on Twitter, JimmyCarlton88.
Fantastic, Jimmy. We'll talk to you on Friday night when we have you back here for another edition of Double Dribble with Mitch Baumhoff from 5 to 6.
Thanks a lot.
No problem. There goes Jimmy Carlton of On Milwaukee. As we are continuing on here with the halftime show. Anything that Jimmy said that'll stick out to you?
I was going to comment on the All-Star game, and it's sad because when I was a kid, I always liked tuning into the All-Star game. I wasn't even necessarily, I was not even specifically for basketball, but for any sport, it's always exciting to say, these are all the best players in the world playing on the same team.
Yes.
I mean, even when I was playing video games, it's always like, oh my gosh, I want to be the East or I want to be the West because I want to play with all of these players.
Exactly.
Now, what's sad is, and the NFL, I think, is the most frustrating because, and
the
it
Pro
is
Bowl's
it is
a joke, though.
It is.
Everybody knows the Pro Bowl's a joke.
And in football, it's a physical game.
Yeah. They
They don't want to risk getting hurt, so they're not going to play hard, which I understand. And I forget which player it was. It might have been a Bill even. A major, I know, it's unbelievable.
Shocker.
During the Pro Bowl, he made a big hit on one of the offensive players. I can't remember who it was, and they ended up complaining about why did you hit me so hard? And he's like, well, it's still football.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I love the fact that they have that mentality. Like, it's still football.
Exactly.
Now, baseball had it right for a while, and unfortunately, they're changing it now. Baseball had something on the line. Now, baseball is not necessarily a physical sport, so it's a little easier to play, a little more aggressiveness. But baseball had it where the winner of the All-Star game had that division had the home field advantage or that conference. So now, since they have since decided to revoke that, which I get, I suppose, but it just demeans the game even more from an all-star perspective. And how do you change that? The NHL is trying different things with
I like
the skills
the 3v3.
competitions.
I like the skills competition.
And 3v3 round robin, which is, they know that it's a joke. When we were talking about embracing it as a joke, it is a joke. Every all-star game is a joke.
Yeah.
How do you embrace it and turn it into something that's at least acknowledging that and still keeps its entertainment value?
I don't know if there's a way to do that, honestly, without putting like home field advantage on the line, or without putting a massive cash pot or first round bye or something that's going to benefit, certain teams. But I mean, if you throw in home field advantage or whatever, and say you play for whoever the East in the NBA, and you're like, oh well, winner of the game gets home court advantage during the playoffs. If you're playing for like the 14th best team or the 14th ranked team in your conference, why do you care?
You don't.
If you're a part of whoever, if you're a part of the New Orleans Pelicans and you're nowhere near the playoff picture, if you're Boogie Cousins and you're in the All-Star game, you'd be like, why do I care if the East gets home court advantage? It's not going to help me. It's not going to help my team. Why would I want to try?
It's almost like you just get rid of the game all
True.
in itself and just keep the home run derby or the skills competition for the NHL or whatever.
Yes.
But
I don't know. And there's so many different things you could talk about that. MLS, I think, does it kind of cool where they get, the best 18 players in MLS, basically, and then they play a team from Europe.
Oh.
So you get the MLS All-Stars versus Barcelona, the MLS All-Stars versus Manchester United, sort of a thing, which is cool, but it also isn't always a good product because the soccer teams from Europe that come over are in preseason.
Right.
And then, so they're not in the best of form, and not the entire roster doesn't always travel. You don't always get Messi or Ronaldo over for those because they don't always travel with the team in early preseason. And for MLS, you get maybe 2 guys on the roster that are on the same team because they try to pull from all the rosters if they can to get the best players out there. And it's always so skewed too because it's the fan votes. So you might not be having the greatest season as a player, but because you're a Hall of Famer, or people are still going to vote you in because, well, I want to see this player play in real life, kind of a thing. So that has a lot of problems with it as well too.
Trevor on Facebook, he must be a Bills fan, says it was Lorenzo Alexander, who I thought it was. I just didn't want to say it and be wrong. But Lorenzo Alexander had a big hit on one of the offensive players from the other team, and I forget what was on the line. I didn't even watch the Pro Bowl.
I didn't either.
I'm not even going to hide that.
No,
but
you don't. You're not. No one can make fun of you for that, honestly. Trevor also says they changed the MLB All-Star Game outcome after last year. Winner no longer gets home field advantage in the World Series moving forward. So
we'll see how that works out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Aaron says he loves the dunk contest in the NBA.
Yes.
Some people really like that. People think that certain things I think are really cool, but there's still a lot of ways to go, I feel like, to truly make All-Star and just any sort of thing like that great again.
Very true.
All right, let's move into the college basketball world. Some champions of conferences being crowned over the weekend. The FGCU, or Florida Gulf Coast Eagles, taking the Atlantic Sun. They beat North Florida 77-61. Winthrop beat Campbell. I know you were a big fan of that one, 76-59.
I got my money on
Let's
Winthrop.
see. Wichita State beat Illinois State by 20 to claim the Missouri Valley. I don't know. People say it's so weird. Jacksonville beat UT Martin, Jacksonville State, to win the Ohio Valley. And were there any? That's the only one so far. So a couple of people have punched their tickets, but there's the big boys that still have yet to play.
The big boys. Who do you have? What conferences do you have on your radar for this week, Baxter?
Well, I mean, it really boils down to the big ones. I mean, the SEC, they play their tournament. The champion last year was Kentucky, rightfully so. The Pac-12, nobody pays as much attention to, unfortunately, unless it's college football season. So, I mean, yeah, keep a half an eye on that. The Big Ten, of course, is going to be very interesting, especially with Wisconsin struggling. Kansas and the Big 12 is going to be a fun one to keep an eye on. And then Big East, of course, as well, too, with our Marquette local affiliate.
Very true, very true. The Big East, and it might be because I'm biased, but the Big East to me is one of the best conferences in college basketball. It's very competitive.
I feel like they used to be. Don't forget about the ACC.
Right, the ACC,
I'm sorry,
of course.
North Carolina, Duke.
But there's so many quality teams in here, and I mean, some teams have come in and out of the top 25, but with Villanova being in the top 10 for the entire year, they're going to be, I think, the team to beat in at least the Big East Conference. I don't know how well they may fare moving into the March Madness tournament, But Marquette, like I said before about Golden State, if they get hot, they could surprise some people. Now, if Marcus Howard, the best three-point shooter in the country, shooting over 50% from the three-point line, if he's not playing well, if they're not shooting threes, then yeah, they're going to become a disappointment.
I agree.
But I think if they do play well and they do shoot well from outside the arch, I think they could surprise some people.
Well, Marquette is one of those on-the-bubble teams right now. They're one of the last 4 buys, apparently. So they're going to be a one to keep an eye on for sure. Joe Lenardi over at ESPN.com has updated his bracketology as of today. He has Purdue all the way up to a 4 seed now. Bucknell is up to a 13. UNC Greensboro is up to a 14. Marquette is up to a 10 seed. And South Carolina is up to a 7. Virginia Tech up to an 8. Miami dropped. Virginia dropped. Northwestern dropped. Syracuse dropped as well. It's so crazy to me to look at this. The ACC gets more than likely 10 bids, basically, for what's going forward. You know, the Big Ten gets 7. Big East gets 7. The SEC gets 5. It's so interesting to break it down, but you think of basketball, the ACC is that conference.
Yes.
You know, it's kind of like the SEC for college football.
It's competitive. That's what
you
you want. You want competitive, and I mean, with these leagues, it's tough because you want the best players, you want the best teams in.
Well,
in
of course. I mean, you want the
conference.
best teams always there, basically. Jeff asked, "Is it right that the UW Panthers might make it in?" Yes, Jeff, that is correct, actually. So from what I've heard, they are still duking it out and battling in the Horizon League, I believe is where UWM plays. If they win tonight, they will go to the Horizon League Championship, and if they win that, then of course they will get in.
Right.
Be a low seed, but they have a shot.
Right. Looking at the ACC, just some of these schools are. I mean, these are the schools you always see in the Sweet 16 every year, or at least competing even for a national championship. UNC, of course, back on top, the 1 seed in the ACC, and for some reason, they are always just one of the best teams in the country, aside from a year or two here or there. And then you got the other familiar teams in Duke, Louisville, Syracuse, Virginia Tech, UVA, Pittsburgh. I mean, that's a stacked conference right there.
What do you make of this? And I heard a guy yesterday on NBC Sports Radio just going off on this. What do you make of conference tournaments that basically just how they seed people? Because you look at almost every tournament. I'm going to take the Big Ten just as an example. Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, and Minnesota all start the Big Ten tournament in the quarterfinals. They all start there. They miss 2 rounds of action. So Nebraska, Penn State play,
right,
and Ohio State and Rutgers play. Then those guys go to the next round to play, the next swatch of games, basically. And then you finally get to 4 teams. So there's 6 games that happen before Purdue, Wisconsin, Maryland, Minnesota even play a single game.
Yeah,
what do you make of that?
Some of the brackets, I was looking at the different
ACC
conference
has
brackets.
that. SEC has that.
They are, I mean...
Do you think that's fair? Do you think they should all just start out in one big hoopla and just go after it?
I like the idea of, I don't like having the 3-game buys or whatever, but I like that it gives you something to play for, but I don't think that is on the minds of the teams during the season because they're thinking about the NCAA championship. They're not necessarily thinking we need to be in this spot so that we get this bye in the Big East or the Big Ten or whatever. But some of these conference brackets, they look like puzzle pieces. It's amazing.
Yeah, David on Facebook says, possible, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm assuming that's for the UWM bracket. And then Christine on Facebook says, go conference, or go CUSC. I don't know if she meant Conference USA or if she meant CUSC. I don't know who CUSE is. But either way, go them. Good luck to them.
We'll give them a shout out.
Give them the best.
Why not? Maybe she'll comment and correct us and tell us that.
Help us out on that one, Christine, if you're still watching of the name of this school officially.
Cuse.
Cuse?
Syracuse.
Oh, Cuse.
CUSE.
Big Orange. Why didn't you say go
this
Orange?
Guy. I don't know. I've had my rivalry as a Marquette guy with Syracuse for a while, especially being from Western New York.
How do you get intimidated by an orange?
The Orangeman. I don't know.
I don't get intimidated by a big stuffed orange.
Shouldn't the orange be in Florida though, or California even? Not upstate
Florida
New
orange?
York?
That would make sense to me, honestly.
I don't know.
All right.
Anywho.
What's wrong with the NBA, Tanner?
What's wrong with the NBA? Now we're going into that?
No, I think we should. I think we should brief.
Wait, before we move into it, do you have a favorite for the moving into the NCAA? Obviously, we have a whole week of
Selection
conference
Sunday
championships. A week from yesterday.
6 days away.
Who are you watching this week that you think might be able to make a run?
I mean, I'm always keeping an eye on the Big Ten, honestly. I'm always curious to see what is going to take place. But really, though, I mean, I'm going to keep an eye on what the ACC does because that's the best conference. So you want to know what UNC does,
Duke,
Notre Dame, FSU.
Maybe
Duke.
There's another dark horse in there.
Yeah, there's always a possibility of that. Miami's not awful. Georgia Tech, Boston College, those guys certainly can get around and play the game of basketball well. But I really want to know what a Purdue can do, the number 1 seed in the Big Ten. I've been kind of thrown by them all year, and even the 3 seed in Minnesota as well, too. How good are the Golden Gophers? Are they going to be able to beat Ohio State or Rutgers? And then are they going to be able to beat Northwestern when they finally, depending on who they end up having to play in the conference tournament?
We'll have to wait till next Sunday to look into that a little bit more.
All right, one thing I want to talk about really fast before we talk about how awful the NBA is. If you didn't see this wonderful picture over the weekend, MLS had opening weekend, and if you don't know what a TIFO is in the sport of soccer,
at that.
The Portland Timbers are notorious for their TIFO, and of course, Timbers, trees. If you've never heard of Bob Ross, PBS specials back in the day.
You can find them on Netflix now.
You can, all of Bob Ross on demand.
It's
basically.
amazing.
This picture coming to us from the courtesy of Gannett, but Bob Ross would say, "Let's paint the trees green. Let's paint the happy little trees." So you see him painting the trees for the Portland Timbers on their backdrop there, basically.
In case you're wondering, when I saw that, I thought it was fake. I thought it was. I thought it was a CGI or a little graphic that somebody put on there.
TIFOs are
That's
handmade,
real.
hand-painted.
Can we put that back up on there for them?
Absolutely, yeah. Take a look at it again here.
That is the actual size of this giant piece of art.
I mean, you see the banners hanging above them too. I mean, look how big these things are.
That's the biggest. I mean, I always talk about how big Bob Ross's hair is, but that is the biggest Bob Ross I've seen in my entire life.
Too much Bob Ross.
Unbelievable.
That'd be.
By the way, season 1 on Netflix. Oh my God.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
I don't doubt it. I do not doubt
it. Really is
Bob
a nail
Ross.
biter.
One thing I want to talk about here is something that has to do with the NBA. As we get into the NBA a little bit more, we talked about how the All-Star game needs a lot of help. But we also agree that the NBA kind of just has been sucking recently. The Knicks decided to do something interesting at their game the other night. They decided to do, they posted on their board, on the Jumbotron at Madison Square Garden, a very notoriously loud, rowdy place.
Yep.
They said, the first half of today's game will be presented without music, video, or in-game entertainment, so you can experience the game in its purest form. Enjoy the sounds of the game. This is what it sounded like during a timeout. Just 1 second here. This is what the timeout sounded like. Nothing. And there's the horse. Like, what?
It's like when the power went out at the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Everyone's like, what do we do?
I don't know what to do with my hands. What to do with my hands, Baxter? I don't know what to do. What's going on here?
I don't know. I don't know either. Draymond Green, of course, is who the Knicks were playing. The Warriors. He had some thoughts about the reaction, the thoughts about what happened. Check out what he had to say.
You get so used to playing the game a certain way, you completely change that. I think it was disrespectful to everyone from Michael Levine, Rick Welts, and all these people who've done these things to change the game, from an entertainment perspective, and give the game a great vibe. That's complete disrespect. You advance things in the world to make it better. You don't go back to what was bad. And so it's like computers can do anything for us. It's like going back to paper. Like, why would you do that? So
do you agree with Draymond?
I do, and here's why. There's two things. So I understand that they want to keep they want to get the fans back involved in the actual game itself, and yes. I understand that. But here's my problem with that is That's not why people are going to games. I mean, yes, they want to go see, like, if I go to a Brewers game, yeah, I want to watch the Brewers, but how much of that am I actually watching? And
I'm not going for the pipe organ.
That's what I'm not either, but at the same time, it's a nice compliment. You know, when they have the dance crew out on the court or, you know, some guy shooting out of a cannon into left field, I want to see that. That's going to get me in the seat, and I'm also going to watch the game. Now, it's worked for them for so many years. I don't understand. I mean, it's an entertainment industry. Every sport is its own entertainment industry. When you take out the entertainment,
I agree.
what do you got?
I agree. David, it says, love Bob Ross. His stuff is on YouTube and Twitch as well. Totally agree, David. Jody says, let's talk baseball. Well, Jody, we're happy to talk about baseball. What are your thoughts? What are you going into the spring training here? What team do you support? We're happy to chat about that as we move on with the show. Trevor says, always considered it absurd that the NBA plays music during games. I went to a Milwaukee Bucks game a couple years ago, and they had an in-arena DJ basically mixing the whole game.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing sounded like it was like a mixtape while NBA games were going on. I'm like, guys, are we allowed to do this?
That's my biggest pet peeve with the NBA and how they handle that is, like, I agree.
Yes.
I don't think that there should be music being played while the game is being played.
You let the game itself happen.
I'm
You let
totally
the fans
okay.
react.
I'm totally okay with the public address announcer, you know, doing his whole, like, LeBron James from three. You know, that's totally fine. I get that. They do in hockey, too, but they don't play music while the puck is in play in hockey because at that point...
They don't do that in soccer.
At that point, they're watching the game.
Exactly.
And you should be.
NFL, baseball. I mean, I get
Can you imagine if they
the
did
Oregon
that for the
makes
NFL,
a
though?
little sense.
Yeah, I get the Oregon, but the
How many
Oregon's
people?
the Oregon's not playing while the
Quarterbacks
ball's
would be
in
freaking
play.
out in the NFL. Be like, I can't reiterate my snap counts to my guys. I can't call
Yeah.
signals because the crowd's number one already super loud. Imagine Seattle playing music on top of their 80,000 fans going,
Yeah.
like, no, you can't
Or
do
the-
like it would literally be impossible to be like, I'd look at my teammates and be like, guys, just run. I'll throw you the ball.
Trevor says, I'll consider things Draymond Green has to say when he stops kicking people. Valid point.
Is Grayson Allen the younger version of Draymond Green? What if the Warriors draft Grayson Allen? You'd have the tripper, the stepper, the cheap shotter.
The three-pointer.
I feel like everybody wins at that point. Aaron and Corey say, I prefer music. I don't prefer it during the games. I just don't.
Here we go. Aaron says the Vikings used to blast crowd noise through their speakers. Yes.
So did the Falcons. The Falcons got in trouble for that.
I understand people getting in trouble for that. And
Falcons pumped in noise.
When the Bills are on a third down and they're trying to get a third down stop, they blow a train horn.
Yeah.
But the train horn stops
before the play.
Before the play, and once the ball is set, the train horn has to stop. And there's a
what
line there.
What do you make of the noise makers? Like the Vikings have like the for like the first down. The first down. Like the Panthers have like a row, like for a first down. Like the Buccaneers shoot off effing cannons for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Like that's sweet.
That's awesome.
I want a cannon in my stadium.
I think you have to look at it and say, does this add entertainment value to our product? And in the NBA, I could care less if Katy Perry is playing while Steph Curry is knocking down threes left and right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need to hear that. I don't care.
Why not? Bang, bang.
Let me watch the game while the game is being played.
Sure.
And let the public address announcer, let them take charge of how they get the fans excited. Do it when the game's not being played.
David here on Facebook says, how do you feel about the arena football where they play music between plays and stop it when the teams are getting set for the next play? 100% fine with that. As long as it doesn't affect the run of play. So if I am snapping a football or if I am kicking a soccer ball, I don't want music playing. If there's that timeout in between, play the music 100%. How many times at hockey games, as soon as the ice stops, there's that 30-second song that plays and says the guys get set to redo the faceoff.
It's unbelievable.
It adds to it. It adds to the over environment. That completely is fine with me. But you don't need music. You don't need a dance party going on. Maybe that's why the NBA is struggling, is because they're like, well, we need to play music to keep people involved because nobody wants to watch the games.
Maybe, yeah, because it doesn't matter if you're a 4 seed or an 8 seed. By the time you get to the second round and you're facing Cleveland or the Spurs, you're going to lose. It's just how it works. How the NBA is. It's frustrating, but I just have something to point out right here. Can I go back to my Moody Monday for a second?
Holy cow, you're going way back.
Yeah, I know.
You need to drink, by the way. I'm kicking your butt here with drinking.
Yes,
by
you're
the
right.
way.
Cheers. I'm sorry.
There you
yeah,
go.
I usually slow
I've
down.
had plenty to drink so far. You need to keep moving.
Okay, now here's the deal.
Moody Monday. Going back.
My mom is on vacation right now.
Oh, hi, Mom.
She's in Orlando, and I'm quite jealous. And she's down there with some of our family members. They They are all watching our show right now.
Oh.
So what I have to say to them is...
Hello, family.
Well, first off, hello. Second off, go enjoy your gosh darn vacation.
Get out of here.
And stop paying attention to us.
No,
but I appreciate it.
But watch us, though,
But
please.
watch us. Don't leave. We need the viewership.
How'd you not get the invite to Orlando?
I don't know. I found out about
it.
it like 48 hours before it happened. I was like,
We're going to Orlando. Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. What?
Pardon?
Yeah, I don't know. But Aaron makes a good point here as well, too. Reaction noises are fine. Well, yeah, you want people to react.
Absolutely.
If there's a swatted ball or if there's a big sack or if there's a goal, like, you want to hear, like, the announcers even stop. And that when you let the crowd just soak into you, especially, like, if you're watching on TV, like, how many times do you see, like, a tremendous goal in soccer or a great play in football, and you just let the audience tell the
soak
story?
it in. Yeah.
That makes total sense to me.
Absolutely.
Let that happen. Let the purest form of the sport happen. But for the NBA, you need to play the music.
It's the NBA.
To an extent.
It gets out of hand.
I worked as a PA announcer for multiple years. I never played music during games.
No.
Always played it on timeouts, played warm-ups, halftimes.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's what you need
Let
to do.
the game excite the people while the game's
fans
being
are
played.
busy jarring enough. I mean,
And
it all depends on the team, I guess, though.
I will say the music has an effect on the fans and the players
It
to a
does.
certain
The right
extent.
song makes a big difference, honestly.
When I was doing PA for a baseball team up in northern Wisconsin, if we're down by 1 and we're going into the bottom of the 8th inning,
Charge!
I'm going to start playing some pump-up music, not just for to get the fans into the game, but also to get that reaction of the players, because the players,
be like,
they want
"Let's
that.
go!"
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going out there and playing I'm turning 22 when we're down by 1 and 2 outs in the bottom of the 9th. So, yeah.
Maybe you could.
Anyways,
that might confuse the other team.
But what my point is, when the ball is about to be pitched, we cut the music.
Oh, 100%.
And if there are times where you bring it over or you don't bring it down right away, and you get a look from one of the coaches saying, "Hey, what the heck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Imagine, in basketball, how does that even affect the players? If the music's being played, are the players listening to the music?
No.
If they are,
at that
should
point,
that be a concern?
No, it's not like you see Steph Curry singing to Kanye going
Dancing.
down the road, just
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
a gold digger. Ooh. No, cha-cha to the right.
No.
I would be that player, though.
I would be that player too. I wouldn't be playing though. I'd be on
Wendy
the
and
bench.
Karen both say hi to you, by the way, Tanner. Hi from your mom and aunts. Hi from Aunt Karen. Cheers from Aunt Chris as well, too.
Very nice.
So the family loves you. You're a legend in your own family, Tanner.
Somehow, I haven't figured out why.
The ladies love you.
The ladies
Unfortunately, those ladies that love you are your family, so they're required to love you.
Yes, this is true.
Which is not a bad thing,
This
I
is
guess.
true.
All right, one more thing before we go.
Oh boy, is it still about the NBA?
No, before we go, for the show.
Oh,
Have you've seen the movie Entourage or the TV show Entourage?
yeah, yes.
Yeah, I have a little bit as well too here and there. If you could make a sports-themed Entourage, we're not going to go the full whatever it is, 14 people or however crazy big.
Oh,
entourage.
I don't need a posse. I'm just looking for an entourage.
If you could pick an
bros.
entourage of people in the sports world to be in the Burke Entourage, and for me in the Colburn Entourage, who would they be?
I think I know what's coming up here.
We're going to do this.
Are we doing a player or
We're going to do
Sports
a
World
Sports
Entourage
World
draft?
Entourage. We each get 4 players. We're going to do it draft style.
Cue the segment music. Entourage draft.
All right, so the way this works is Tanner and I each get to go, rock, paper, scissors, to see who goes first.
Oh, okay.
Rock, paper, scissors,
I'm going to
shoot.
take you down. Rock, paper,
Okay?
scissors, shoot?
Yes.
All right, ready?
Here we go. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ooh, all right, so
Okay,
Tanner gets
all
the
right.
first overall pick. Who are you taking
Thank
first?
God. First overall.
With the first pick in the Sports Entourage draft, Tanner Burke selects.
I have to choose this person because
From the University
I wanted
of-
to wait until round 2, but I have to pick him first overall because
Take him.
what's the rule number 1 for your entourage? You need somebody who's going to protect you and take necessary action when someone steps out of line.
Of course.
So first overall in the entourage draft is Ray Lewis.
Big old Ray Lewis.
No reason in particular.
Can you do the Ray Lewis dance?
No, I can't do the Ray Lewis dance.
I respect
I could probably
Ray Lewis.
we could start each show with a Ray Lewis
Like the
pump
fog.
up
We
speech.
have a fog machine. Just be like, let's go. That would be how we get
So,
we get
yes.
introduced to the show. That makes sense. All right.
Yes. So if somebody steps out of line, I have Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis.
Because nobody messes with Ray Lewis.
And he'll kill people for you too.
What? Oh.
Not confirmed. Anyway, my first overall pick for my entourage. You need your squad looking good.
You Gosh,
That's a
darn
big
right.
thing for an entourage.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
Russell Westbrook is going to be the first guy because you see the outfits that Big Russ wears to games.
He's your first overall pick?
He looks good. I care about my entourage looking fresh when we're out in public.
Okay.
You know, we go to Naples, Florida, where I'm from. We go to Fifth Avenue. Your entourage has to look on fleek. So Russell Westbrook and his crazy outfits are going to be my first one. Plus, he's a character.
Okay.
Your second pick.
My second pick, I'm going to have to move these down the line. I could probably pick this person later, but you're going fashion. You want style.
I want style.
I want to be flashy. So do you know who I'm picking for my second? I wasn't going to do this, but since you went style, I'm going to do this too. I'm picking Don Cherry.
Who the hell is Don Cherry?
The man, the myth, the legend. You know, I shouldn't have done that because you're not a hockey guy.
I'm not a hockey guy. You should have taken like Craig Sager.
He's the most biased Canadian sports broadcaster, but he's always wearing one of the weirdest suits in the entire world.
I would have gone with Craig Sager over him. I feel like you missed. You missed on that.
I'm
pick.
a hockey guy.
I
All
understand.
right, here I'll change my pick.
No,
Can I take it back? Did I keep him?
You already chose him. He's on your entourage.
I'm still on the clock though.
No, you can't trade your pick away.
It's in erasable ink. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, so I have Ray Lewis and Don Cherry for all my hockey fans out there.
All right, my next pick out of the University of Michigan in the 7th round is Mr. Thomas Brady. Because I want to have a guy that's going to love to have fun.
Okay.
If you've ever seen Tom Brady on social media, he's absolutely hilarious. Guy that doesn't really let things affect him, just kind of brushes him off. Plus, you got to have somebody that's got an attractive wife as well too. I mean, I've got a pretty wife. Tom's got a pretty wife. I'm sure Russ has got somebody somewhere that's pretty.
That's sweet.
You gotta have a good-looking crew. The wives are the backbone of the entourage.
Okay.
Giselle supports Tom.
Liz
say. Supports me.
Yeah.
We need that.
Absolutely.
I still don't know about Russ.
Why didn't you draft your wife?
Well, she's not sports-related. She comes with me. She's part of the package.
Okay, all right. She's already going to be there with you.
She's already with me. Yeah, we get Giselle and Liz as complimentary picks.
So is this her entourage as well then? If she's
her entourage would be different. I feel like she would bring some of her fierce girl bosses.
Okay.
So who's your third pick?
My third pick, man. So I have Ray Lewis and Don Cherry. I want another fireball because ain't nobody going to be messing with me when I'm out on the town.
Of course not.
You got that right.
Couldn't dare.
My third pick is Johnny McEnroe.
Johnny McEnroe, eh?
Have you seen Mr. Deeds?
It's been a long time.
I imagine partying with Johnny Mac is exactly like that. Cigars, like Cuban cigars, nice beer, and then just egging rich people's houses.
I guess I could see that.
I'm full disclosure. This is not what I would be doing in my entourage. I'm just saying.
Fair enough.
His party ain't no party like a Johnny Mac party.
Michael makes a great point on Facebook. He says Tom Brady can get you all matching Uggs. Exactly. You know what I'm thinking, Michael. Those things are dang comfy. Totally understand that.
Oh my God.
And now Michael apparently is also mad at me saying, wow, how do you not know Don?
Unbelievable.
Cherry emoji.
There you go with the Patriots again. Oh, my gosh.
Trevor says Tom Brady is a grown man who wears Uggs.
Oh, my gosh.
I think I hear a bit of jealousy in that, honestly.
This is insane. We're taking a total left-hand turn here.
My third pick.
Who do you have so far? Let's review. Who do you have on your?
I have Russell Westbrook to look good for the fashion. He's going to be our fashion director.
Okay.
Tom Brady because he's a character and he's a good man. And he's funny on social media, so our entourage is going to have a fantastic social media game.
Okay,
those are the two guys.
That's a good thing.
And who do you have?
I have Ray Lewis for his physical stature.
Okay.
He's going to be kind of my bodyguard. And then I have Don Cherry for his absurd attire, which is totally great. Ray Lewis brings a little bit of that too, but Don Cherry's my number 2. And then Johnny Mac, because ain't no party like a Johnny Mac party.
Johnny McEnroe. My third pick is going to be Al Michaels.
Al Michaels,
because he knows everybody.
That's true.
So if we want to play golf, we want to go to the country club, we want to go in the car. Al Michaels.
He's got somebody.
Al Michaels knows everybody.
In every city.
He's worked in every market, in every sport, and done everything.
Gotta love Al Michaels.
So it'll be like, guys, sorry, Al Michaels is with you. Oh, come on in. Yeah. I mean, I'll also be like, Russell Westbrook, Tom Brady. I feel like, let us in here.
Yeah, exactly. So you know you're getting in with
Al Michaels, Tom Brady, Russell Westbrook.
Yes.
You have one more pick. Who's your final pick? Don't screw it up.
Now, so Ray Lewis, Don Cherry, and Johnny McEnroe.
Yes.
My fourth pick was going to be this person.
Was?
I'm going to say it.
Are you actually?
But I already have enough aggression on my team, so I don't need them. So I picked. Well, I didn't pick. I was going to. The draft predictions thought I was going to pick this person, but I surprised them with my earlier picks. My fourth pick was going to be Bobby Knight, because everybody needs to throw a chair.
I was going to say you're going to be throwing chairs all day.
But I already had Johnny McEnroe.
Fair enough.
And you can't hang out with two of those guys.
True.
One's enough. Okay, one's enough. So my pick, it's not going to be Bobby Knight. Ray Lewis, Don Cherry, Johnny McEnroe, and from left field and the 50-yard line, Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
Bo Jackson.
I don't mind Bo Jackson.
You know he's going to be the best at whatever you do.
Absolutely.
If I go and if I lose, at some pool or something, I can have Bo come up and be like, oh, Bo Jackson, I'll probably get hurt, but let's play for money. Double
I
nothing.
agree. Hell yeah. Michael says if you want a party Johnny, I think you would need the other Johnny. Johnny Manziel can get you any club in the world. That's true. Trevor Burke says somebody should pick Chris Berman. Adam says go Big Red.
Go Big Red. All right.
Go Big Red.
Yeah. I had to represent my Nebraska Cornhuskers today.
Some Huskers.
For no particular reason.
See, my fourth pick, I feel like the boys are going to get out of hand at times. And I need that physical presence. I need someone that's going to protect me as well, too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
Fourth and final member of the entourage.
All right.
She's going to I think Ronda's my equivalent to Ray Lewis.
That's true. She's not going to kill anybody, though.
She's a guy's guy.
She's a guy's guy.
But she's a girl at the same time. Everybody needs that strong, intimidating presence.
She's going to lose every now and then, though.
That's fine. We've got a great team around her to bring her back and support her.
That's true. In the comment section, we'll go over our entourage draft picks one more time, but be sure to comment and decide
who are your four.
Who are you hanging out with, and whose entourage draft is better. But yeah, who's in your entourage draft? That's important. But yeah, so Ray Lewis, Don Cherry, Johnny McEnroe, and not Bobby Knight, but Bo Jackson, because ain't nobody catch Bo.
No.
Ain't nobody catch Bo.
All day, day.
Did you play Tecmo Super Bowl when you were in the 90s? Did you have an NES?
I didn't. Nope, I did not.
I'll tell you, Bo Jackson, it was basically like having a cheat code on your team. He was so freaking good. It was unbelievable. But yes, my brother and I play still to this day.
I play backyard
whenever
sports.
We're in the same row.
Bo Jackson was never in backyard football. I thought that was an absolute travesty.
Yeah, right?
Absolute travesty. Let's see here. Quick more read here. Corey says truth. Bo Jackson was good at everything. Trevor says nobody catches Bo.
Very true.
Michael says, well, Ronda did beat up Turtle. I'm not sure what that means.
This is true. In Entourage.
Oh, and that's what else he says.
Yes.
Trevor says, plus Ronda was in the Entourage movie, so we see what you did there, Baxter.
Yes.
Didn't actually know Ronda was in Entourage. Fun fact.
It all comes full circle.
Aaron says, I'd love to be at the club with Bobby Knight. Ha, ha, ha. And then Aaron says, she doesn't know how to fight anymore, referencing to Ronda. Well, like I said, people aren't commenting what they're for.
True.
Comment below.
True.
Once we get off the air, I'm sure we'll go back and comment on some of yours as well.
Michael says, I don't think you brought this comment in. I think it just happened.
Maybe.
Michael says Jerry Jones has to be a pick. You already know he parties and loves the ladies. He can afford it too. Maybe he'll pick up the pill or pick up the tab.
Oh.
Jerry Jones is not hanging out with me at the club.
We can go to Jerry World after we're done.
Is that just the Dallas Cowboys stadium?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jerry World.
They'd be like, we can go hang out in the club section.
Yeah, I got the Dallas Charlie cheerleaders here.
Sit down in the club seats. We can put your favorite Netflix series in the jumbotron.
That'd be amazing.
Any of them? Any of the jumbotrons?
Watch the great new documentary, A Billion Lives. Shameless plug.
I haven't.
All right. Well, that's our show today, Tanner Burke. Closing thoughts as we party out of here.
I had a lot of fun today.
Good.
I was in a moody mood.
You were very
when we
moody
first started.
to begin. Yes,
but
I was a little worried.
I've had man. It's always fun to be on this show.
You're a fun guy, Tanner.
Stop. I clearly need to drink more, which is since when?
I beat you.
I
my bottle's gone, folks.
How about this? For anybody that's watching, we do this show 5 days a week.
We do.
There's other shows we do 5 days a week as well, but this is a special show because it's the lunch hour.
Obviously.
It's the lunch hour, 11 to 12 Central Time. If there's anything you ever want to talk about, I mean, I like coming up with these crazy games and whatnot, but if there's anything you ever want to talk about, that maybe we didn't catch, be sure to put it in our comment section, share and like our page, and who knows, maybe we'll feature one of your topics on one of our shows.
Absolutely. Coming up next on Brew Sports, it will be Happy Hour with myself and Tika Griesbach. You can catch that at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, live right here on Brew Sports. Thank you so much for watching today. You can find me on Twitter at Baxter Colburn, at Brew Sportsnet, on Twitter and Instagram, hashtag Brew Sports on Twitter as well, and on Facebook to interact as well with us.
You can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Erware at Banner Turk.
All right, Banner Turk, always a pleasure, sir.
Absolutely.
You won't be here tomorrow.
I won't be here tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have
I'm sad.
surprise things came up, and unfortunately, I will have to find somebody to be with you tomorrow. So
I will do my very best. I'll drink extra to compensate for you
Beautiful.
not being here.
Sounds good.
All right, he's Tanner Burke. I'm Baxter Colburn. This has been Halftime. We'll see you guys again. We're back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Central Time, live on Brew Sports.